Greetings, everyone. Dr. Annette West, Publishing Pusher here. Thanks for joining me in the JetNay Publishing, talking all things books. Yes, the operative words, all things. I'm excited you're here. You listen in, share your thoughts. You don't have to be live on the screen to be able to talk. And I want you to know your success is my business. I'm here to assist you, support, empower, inspire as we pull out those thoughts to get these books accomplished. Thanks again for joining me.
All right, everybody. Another Thursday, another session of talking all things books. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you being here, even if you're coming in later. That's the great thing about recording this, is that people will be able to check it out at all times. Make sure, if you haven't, that you go to my YouTube channel, JetNay Publishing. Please subscribe, listen to the videos that we have been doing on talking all things books for the last couple of months. We are on, this will be our session 15 that we will have done. Last week, Miss Anna Roseborough stepped in for me, and she talked about writing a book about your grandparents, and possibly doing it and having it ready for the holidays to share with your family. So if you didn't listen to that, please go in and listen. I think it would be a great project for most of our families to do, to get some of that insight from our parents, grandparents, and share that content for the future. So something to think about. I also have Dr. Annette Publishing Pusher. If you don't know, that is my podcast that airs most Thursdays on Spotify as well as other platforms. And then on Mondays, it airs again on a Christian Power Network with Jerry Royce. You know, I think about my S3 model that says, if you don't show up, people don't know who you are. If you don't speak out, people don't know what you have to say. And if you don't share it, people don't know what's in your toolbox. So I am showing up, sharing it, and I'm speaking. Now, the good thing is, as I am doing and preparing, I want to give other people the opportunity to be on my podcast, to be in here and share as well. I see Dr. Tiffany Quinn is here today. She actually is a book author, minister of the word, and she was on one of my podcasts interviews. So if you haven't listened in, go back. At this point, we are in season 5. I'm really thinking about, this is going to be my final season. But the good thing about stepping back is that you leave something behind for other people to grab a hold of. So that means if I end this time around, at the end of 5th season, I'll have about 130 audios that people can still go back and listen to. And the content is evergreen, which means, guess what, people? It's always relevant. I'm doing quite a few different things, talking all things books. And sometimes we have to step back, refocus, step forward. And when we step forward, sometimes we may be going in a totally different direction than we were before. And that's the same thing with our books as well. Really zoning in on what we've been called to write, really getting it done, and being willing to shift when needed, being willing to take our resource and build it in other ways to get to other platforms. I think that's one of the great things, is understanding who we are called to be, what has been put into our minds that we can develop and put in our hands that we can then share it with other people. Now, I've been in this game since 2006 when I wrote my first book, Living Words of Encouragement, Volume 1. But once I wrote that book, I wasn't consistently writing books. I had the second one ready, like probably almost ready, 90-some% ready. And I just didn't feel compelled to put it out yet. But that doesn't mean I wasn't doing other things. I was helping people to become self-publishers. So I was a self-publishing coach for many years, almost 10 years to be exact. And then, of course, my connectivity with some other people and some things that we were doing with writing. And we created a local creative writing group. And we didn't just limit it to writers. We had artists. We had spoken word people in that group, because we were talking about the creativity that God has given to us. So it was across a fairly broad range. And we probably met for a couple of years, really, really great perspective. And there's something being left behind from each thing that we do. I do have some content to share today, but I have Dr. Tiffany Quinn here, and I have Written Word Publishing, Melvise, and I would like to welcome both of you this morning. A few people told me they'll be coming in, but we don't worry about that, because the content will be available. If you can't make it in on Thursday morning when these sessions are being done, how long they'll be done, I don't know. I'm always ready to shift. But for right now, Thursday mornings, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, focusing on 30 minutes to 45 minutes, going with the flow, but being committed to the people that are coming in and the time factor at hand. Hi, Dr. Tiffany, are you able to speak? Are you able to speak, Melvise?
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I've missed you. How you been?
Busy.
Oh, that's okay. That's not a bad thing.
That's a great thing. That's a really great thing.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tiffany is with us. She can't speak right now. And it's not necessary. Let me just say this, just because you're here, it's not necessary that you speak. I give you the opportunity to ask questions and make comments. But if you don't have anything, that is fine. Anything going on, Melvise, that we need to know about?
Same old, same old. Working on editing and planning to release 2 books next month, and assisting another publishing company with getting their book formatted and uploaded on Ingram Spark. So there's another service that we provide. So yeah. And I'm preparing for a new ghostwriting project in October. So that was awesome. She said, I have my journal and I want to turn it into a book. I said, well, is it typed? She said, no, it's all handwritten. I said, okay, well, you have 2 options. You can pay us to type it for you, or you can go ahead and type it yourself while you're waiting for your start date and then save yourself some money. So she chose option 2, which is the smart option, in my view. So I'm ready for that.
Very, very good. Very good. I like one of the things you mentioned is collaboration, that you are assisting another publishing company to get some things done. I love it, love it, love it.
Yes, because I'm we're available to help in any way that we can. And our motto is, excellence. We want it to be just as great as if it came from a traditional publisher. So if we can help other publishers do that, we're more than open to do that. And, teach them how to do it themselves later on.
Yes, teach them how to fish. That is good. That is really good. Well, I'm going to share a little bit today, and then after I share, if anybody wants to add anything to this, or I may stop after each thought and see if you have anything to interject. Hi, Miss Anna, welcome. To see if you have anything to interject. I wanted to talk today, and I don't know about you, whenever I'm doing research, I wind up having so much information. And then I have to make myself tighten it up because it all looks really, really good, but we don't want to bore people with what we're trying to share. We want to try to get to the point as much as possible. So today I just want to share a little bit on building an author brand, which is very critical to our branding ourselves and our moving forward and marketing ourselves as well. One of the things that we have to be really think about is that it's very competitive out here. No matter what you are doing, there's somebody that's in that same niche area and everybody's vying for the people. But I'm of the opinion that the people that are called to you will come to you, but you've got to be available. You have to make your presence known. Because if you don't make your presence known, then those people won't know that you exist. And I think it's important for us to create a well-crafted author platform that is going to help us in our success. Your presence, our presence is critical. Our visibility, our ability to engage with our target audience is significant. Now we know that this wonderful social media world that we live in has so many platforms, so many followers, but do you ever really sit down and think about the different platforms that you are on and who is really following you and engaging with you? I'm not talking about the fact that one of my groups has 4,700 people. I'm talking about the fact how many of those people are active in that space. So you say, oh, I've got 1 million people following me. What does it mean if they are not engaging with you? So we have to come up with ways that draw them, that makes our brand cohesive and that reflects on who we are as a writer and able to connect our readers in a meaningful way with what we are offering. Only best-selling authors. Somebody would say, well, the best-selling authors have this and the best-selling authors have that. Guess what? You can be a best-selling author too. Don't believe the hype, as they say. Don't believe that you can only be a traditional publisher and a traditional book author and going through traditional companies to be successful. That is not true. May take a little more effort. But the thing is, all of the wonderful publishing contracts that these traditional companies were given, they're not giving them these days. And it's harder for people to get in to get their name, to get their content on these platforms. And we really listened and been in tune and listened to people's stories. There are people who just knew their book had to go through a traditional publisher. It wasn't going to be good if it didn't go through a traditional publisher. And they sent their content. And the traditional publisher said they liked the content, but they kept getting pushback. They kept putting other projects in front of their project, and they were getting pushback. Till 2 years down the line, they still have nothing from the company. So some have gone back and said, you know what, I'll figure this out. I'm not going to work with your company. To me, if you have to wait a year or two for your content to be looked at after they told you they can work with you, that means they don't have the support team that they need. And that means your work is not their priority. And if your work really is your priority, then you should find a way to build up your own brand, build up your own website, build up your own content so that you can draw people too. Because see, you can start drawing people before you even publish your book. You can start talking about your work without giving specifics of it before you ever publish it. You can even start taking pre-order sales, and your book isn't even published yet. They have indie authors. What is an indie author? We hear this all the time. It just means independent authors. If you are a self-published author, you really are an indie author. You can go jump on that platform. Now you're an indie author, but you're an independent author anyway if you are self-publishing your own books. But we have to build a strong platform so that we can reach our readers. And when we are doing this, we have to make sure that we are credible, because your credibility is what is going to open doors for new opportunities, such as your collaborations, speaking engagements, and media coverage. Let me give you an example. So there's a platform that I run, and I'm talking to the ladies on this platform. And a couple of the ladies had connected, just talked to some other people about some book projects. And one of the ladies said to me, she said, Dr. Annette, I've been in your room for 3+ years on this platform, listening to you, encouraging us, not charging us for the insightful content that you're giving. So she said, when I finally set myself down to be ready to do my book, I know I'm not going to self-publish it, but I know I'm going to come to your company because you have been credible, is what she said. As I have dealt with you, the way you have dealt with me and other people, you have set yourself apart. That lets us know that it's not the money that's most important, but the people that are most important. And so that was really nice to hear her and others interject as well, because whatever we're doing, if it is as unto the Lord, then we are supposed to be servant leaders in all that we are doing. So we have to strategically develop our platform. We have to grow a loyal readership, and we have to learn how to amplify our voices and ultimately position ourselves for long-term success in our writing career. That's just my little introduction to the thought. Miss Anna, Melvise, Dr. Tiffany, anybody want to interject anything?
I'll just interject here. One of the things that you mentioned about being a part of a platform, even being a part of the platform, sitting in our own rooms, listening in and periodically being offered the opportunity to ask questions. One of the persons who apparently had seen you someplace, and I was in the platform, contacted me to be on her program. And this happens to be someone from the west coast of Canada, and she has an international following. And so next week I'll be presenting with her about one of the textbooks. But in this case, talking about a platform, we're talking about a textbook that we're offering as a Christmas gift, inviting families to have this textbook on hand for working with their children, their grandchildren at home. And so I can affirm and confirm that the advice that you're giving us is encouraging many of us to step out into places that we had not considered before. And sometimes just being here, someone else sees us, hears us, and reaches out to us. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Miss Anna. That's exciting. You know, they always say, be who you are, and just know someone's always listening and watching. There we go. Yes, Miss Anna.
Okay, one other thing that happened here, Melvise and I began working together on a mailing list, and I wanted to see how it worked. And at this point, we're up to a little bit over 250 names. And so I sent it out. And this particular group gives us feedback on how many people, how many emails are sent, how many are opened, and how many people click on the links that we have there. And so now we know which of those emails work, which of them bounced. And until I talked with her, I didn't know that there were two kinds of bouncing, soft bounce and hard bounce. And so by working with others, we learn with them. And so we probably will be meeting in the next week or so to see how we can tailor this list and then make it available to others. But of the 42% of the people opened the email the first day. And about 4% clicked on the links. And so we'll be able to follow up with those who clicked on the links to find out if they want more information. But by collaborating and working together, both of us are expanding our platform just because we've heard you encourage us to do it.
That's impressive. 40%. Wow. Typically it's about 10. So that means the content, the emails that you sent out, that's very significant. People really want that. I'm waiting for my list, y'all. So I'm waiting patiently. So I'm glad that the two of you decided to do this.
But one of the things that we saw probably on yours or someplace else is what's in the subject line that makes people want to open it. And I think I posted it in the Jatney publication, a list of 10 kinds of subject lines to include in our emails that will intrigue someone enough at least to open it, and then have something within that email that they need to click on to find out more information. And we'll find out who's really interested and who's just snooping.
That's good, Ms. Anna. That is good. Melvise, did you have anything? Or Dr. Tiffany?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the indie author aspect. I just want to say that if you pay to publish, you are still considered an independent author. And I see a lot of groups where they harp on never pay to publish, never pay to publish, never pay to publish. But I just want to say there's nothing wrong with paying to publish if you're paying the right publisher. That's the problem. It's not the fact that you pay, because everyone cannot do it themselves. Just like I said, I'm helping other publishing companies to get their books formatted properly and uploaded to the platforms properly. People always need assistance. You cannot, let me not say that. Everyone cannot do everything themselves. And sometimes you do have to pay someone else to assist you. So paying to publish is not anything to be ashamed of or that should be looked down on. It's who you pay to publish. That's the issue. So I would just say do your due diligence, research the company, search the Better Business Bureau, search that website. I believe it's called writersbeware.com, or it might be .org. But if you Google Writers Beware, it'll come up. And all of those scamming pay the publishing companies out there, they get blasted on that website. So you automatically know who to stay away from. If you go to the Better Business Bureau and search the company, if they do bad business, people will complain about it, and you'll know that's not who you want to work with. But there are decent, reputable companies out there like Written Words Publishing and Jatney Publishing that you can pay to assist you to get your work out there in a great way. And you will still be considered an independent author, because the fact that you pay gives you practically the same amount of control that you have if you do it all yourself, and opposed to traditional publishing where whatever they say goes.
Very true. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I saw Dr. Quinn made a post. She said, Dr. Annette, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for your encouragement and support. Your words have really inspired me to keep pressing forward in my journey and stay faithful to the calling God has placed on my life. Your guidance and wisdom mean a lot to me. May God continue to bless and use you mightily. So thank you so much, Dr. Tiffany Quinn. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your comments. So I'll probably be able to share a couple of things from my list of 10 today for the Build an Author Brand. And the first one is define your brand. What is your, we can be all over the place. What is your brand? Why do you need to have a brand? The brand is the foundation for your platform. It lets those who come know, catch your voice, your values, and themes that you consistently present in your writing. Everything I've written has been faith-based. If it's not building up the kingdom and helping people to learn how to live for the Lord more and serve more, then I've not written that kind of content. That doesn't mean that I don't want to try my hand at something else, but I still would have to be really cautious that it still can do what? Align with the brand that I have. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the message that I want to convey? And how do I want the readers to receive my message? So it's not just what the message is, how are you expecting for the readers to receive your message? This is really a critical step in building a successful writing career. Why? Because your brand goes beyond a logo or website design. It really is the essence of you, the writer, and what you are consistently delivering to your readers. So we have to create a unique identity that reflects us so that who we are resonates with those that we encounter. So our brand is not only going to set us apart from other writers, but it's going to be the foundation for the entire author platform, for everything that we do and build. And it's going to help readers when they come know what to expect from you. And this is whether they are picking up the book that you wrote 20 years ago, whether they're following you on social media, whether they're seeing you on a platform. Are you consistent? Is your brand defined that it will build trust, loyalty, and recognition, making your work more memorable and impactful to those who are coming to encounter you? Any comments from anyone? So when we define our author brand, we have to consider our personal story, our writing style, and the message that we want to share with the world. What's your message to the world? And so we have to intentionally craft and refine our brand. We have to create consistent experience for our audience as they're coming through, and we have to make it easy for them to connect with us and the work that we are doing. That's what I would say about our building an author brand. Starting out, how are you going to determine what your brand is? How will you define your brand? And it's really the same question that we ask for every book that we write. Why do I want to write this book? Who is this book for? What do I want that reader to get from this book? How is what I'm going to share in this book going to impact them as they move forward? We should think about the same way with our platform as well. The second thing that I would share today on the points on building an author brand is create a professional website. Create a professional website. Your website is your online home base. And so you need to ensure that there's certain things on that website that tell who you are. You should have a bio. You should have some of your company information. You should have your book information. You may have some blog posts. You will have content details. You have to make your professional website easy for visitors to subscribe to whatever it is you're offering. Is it okay, for me, it will be, they can subscribe to my YouTube channel. They can subscribe to my podcast. They can follow me on other social platforms. They can go to my website and they can join my mailing list. They can see my books on my website. They can see programs and services that I offer on my website. So what are you putting on your website? You don't have to have a newsletter. You don't have to have I don't have at this point, I don't have a blog post, but I don't need a blog post. Why? Because I'm everywhere. I have enough content going on that I can grab pieces of videos that I've done and post it and repost it and refurbish it. We can do that. We can do that. So we have to ask ourselves, what do we have that our people can easily gravitate to? And so the professional website is another part of our cornerstone to building our author platform, serving as your digital home base. So many different outlets. Make your outlet one that people get excited to come to stop at, to see what you have going on, what's new on your platform. You want them to learn as much about you as they can. You want them to explore your books, the introductions that you have on your books, and you want to help them stay up to date with whatever is going on. What's your latest news?
I do have a question. One of the persons who helped me create my website added a component where I get weekly analytics, but I don't know what those analytics mean. The one website, Planning with Purpose, about the textbook I wrote, gets 600, say traffic of 600 a week. What does that mean? Is there someone who has a website that provides that information? And then how do you collect or know who comes and for what reason? And that's sort of the next step I'm on now. If 600 people are coming, are they coming for A, B, C, or D? What do I need to add, remove, or modify to get what I want out of the website? And that's part of what it is. Is it just to share information, or is it to acquire clients or customers or whatever? But is there anyone else who has a tracking or analytic component to your website? And tell me how you use it.
I mean, I have one, but I'm not really using it. Melvisa, you using yours?
Yeah, so what I find is that it depends on the your web host and your web builder. The analytics might be different. So I know the analytics for my website will tell me how many people visited the website every day, but it doesn't tell me exactly what page on the website they went to or if they click links. But there are some analytics that do that. So
under what circumstances would it be useful, worthwhile? That's probably a part of a premium package. Mine happens to be the one that comes with an annual subscription, and that is the only sub website that I had that on. But I did it because the person who made the website recommended it, but I don't know yet how to use it well enough. But I was surprised it gets that much traffic. But so what? If I don't know what's bringing them or whether it's the same people. So if somebody has that information, is willing to share it on another time that we gather, I'd really appreciate that. How to use the analytics on our websites. to know what to add, what to modify, and what to reorganize?
I think that if let's say you were running a advertisement, or let's say you sent out the email and
Mhm.
it had a link, so you know that um if you ran an advertisement on a certain day and that day you received a lot of visits to your website, it's likely that your advertisement gained some traction to your website. You know what I mean?
Yes, I
There's
know.
no way to find out who came to your website. The only other thing you could do was implement one of those subscription, get people to
Mhm.
subscribe, to sign up to receive your newsletter or future information. But I mean, it lets me know, like, I know whenever I post comments about the events page on my website, I'll
Mhm.
see a lot of traffic on my website on days like that.
Okay.
Whenever I post social media posts about, different books or whatever, I'll see a
Okay.
lot of traffic on my website those days. Whenever someone requests the podcast list, I have my link, the link to the website on the list. I'll
Mhm.
see a lot of traffic coming on my website on days like that. So
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I think it's basically just to let you know. I mean, for me, it lets me know that written words publishing is being seen.
Mhm.
By
Mhm.
who and for what exactly, I don't know, but I know there's a lot of traffic on the
Okay.
website. The only
Good.
other thing that I would wonder sometimes, especially on days when I see, or weeks when I see there was an extensive amount of traffic on the website, but there were not a high volume of book sales or inquiries. I wonder what made them came to the site and not inquire about the services or not purchase a book.
Right.
But that's really wondering, is really, I don't think it can get any further than that.
I do appreciate the fact that this particular analytic program indicates which ones are humans and which ones are bots. And they also indicate the number of scams that they blocked. But I'm more interested in who these 600 people are and what's drawing them there, and how do I determine whether or not they are coming for A, B, C, or D. So thank you, Melvise. That will encourage me to check after I've posted something. I just get the weekly reports and I have not gone the next step of how many today, and does that correspond with something that I've posted someplace else? Thank you.
As we are showing up, and we are speaking out, I can say for myself. So and this has happened many times, if I am speaking on someone's platform, if I am sharing somewhere, depending on what I talked about and what I mentioned, when I go to a certain platform, I will see a great increase in movement. Why? Because I mentioned something that people could go to. For instance, my YouTube channel, not my publishing, but my ministry one, didn't have a lot of traction at all. Then when I started talking, I said, you know what, mention that I have the channel. Then I would like, oh, wow. And I mentioned a particular video by title. And all of a sudden that video went from a few listens to over 100 listens. This particular video now has the largest listens of anyone. And when I looked at the analytic part where I could understand, because it takes time to really understand the analytics, it told me that the average person that listened to that video was in that video for 23 minutes. That's massive. For somebody to at least listen to 23 minutes of a 40-minute video, that's big. A lot of people listen to the first few minutes and head out. So that kind of gives us a gauge that maybe my video should stay at 25 minutes. And not before. So we may be able to gain some insights, not knowing who the people are, but based on their movement and how how long people are listening, then I don't want to be putting content that's a lot longer than that if people aren't listening for that long amount of time. Food for thought. So beyond the basics, our website is really going to be a powerful marketing tool if we do it the right way. Here's the thing about your website. It'll be there as long as you want it to be there. Social platforms come and go. Social platforms crash and go and then come back. Sometimes there's different strange things happening on social platforms. So unlike social media that can be very fleeting, your website is a permanent space that you fully control. We may be on all of these other platforms, but we're not really controlling much of anything. And most of our business isn't even coming from those places that we're putting all of that work into. But it's still good to have our content out because you never know. But focus on the few places that you see more traffic. I'm seeing more traffic on my YouTube channel these days. Traffic where I get comments. Traffic where people email me. So it's all trial and error. It really is. But we have to keep trying. We got to keep doing something. And then incorporate elements. I'm not a LinkedIn person, even though I've had a LinkedIn account since I was in my doctoral program in the early 2000s. But I think it was Mel Vies mentioned something about the LinkedIn. I think it was Mel Vies at one point. So I said, well, let me go to LinkedIn and see what I can do. So I went to LinkedIn because it's a platform that I have and that I've had for so long. I had just adjusted some things on there and I changed it from one thing to my publishing. So now it's my publishing. And when I found out that when I do post something there, I get a lot of hits. My problem is I'm not consistent with it. So we really have to decide, like, what platforms am I going to be on and am I going to be consistent on? But as I am referring people, telling them about what's going on, people are listening more, people are looking more, people are commenting more. Has it transferred to sales yet? No. But I have had a few people that said they didn't know me. They'd never been in anything that I've been in, but they did a Google search. And when they did the Google search, so now that we have our platforms, people will be able to find our platforms in the wide world web. And then you never know who is going to reach out to you. I had a lady that reached out to me, but she did not fit my niche of what I did. So I referred her to Mel Vies, Written Word Publishing, because Mel Vies does what she needs. So this comes back to the word networking, collaborating, connecting with people, knowing people, good people across platforms that have the same belief system that you have, the same values. And then when someone's not a fit for you, you know how to move them to someone else.
One more thing. You encourage us to get our books into Ingram and Bowker and all of those. First sale through Ingram was in the country of Italy. I don't know if there's any money going to come from that, but I just got the note yesterday that we have evidence that your book has sold X number of copies in the country of Italy. I said, I'm writing this for American writers, American author readers or whatever. But this idea of getting out there on multiple platforms, because we never know where potential readers are going to seek out something that we have written. But I forgot to mention that you mentioned about getting out there. You never know where it's coming from.
Yes.
You probably earn 50 cents, but
well, you know, my philosophy is before you got that 50 cents, you didn't have no cent. Okay. So we'll thank the Lord for the 50 cent, and he'll bring some more 50 cents and it'll add up. Well,
Okay, thank you.
ladies, this is our 45 minutes today. We hung in here for 45 minutes. I think I have a lot of content, so I may be talking about building an author brand again on next week as well, because I had 10 things I wanted to talk about and I talked about 2. Okay. But thank you so much, Miss Anna. Thank you so much, Mel V's. Thank you for hanging in, Dr. Tiffany Quinn. And thank you everyone who's listening in. I appreciate you. I got to say this. I like to say this, and sometimes it's in my head and I don't say it. I always want to remind us that we are blessed to be a blessing. And if you serve King Jesus, you are supposed to be the visible manifestation of his invisible presence. I will catch you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.